Welcome back to NRL Fantasy Analysis here with Draftstars for our Thursday night clash between the Knights and the Seagulls, the 15,000 plus prize pool here. We're going to go through all my selections, all the guys I think you should bring into your side for this week's game. So in the outside backs, there's probably only three guys I'd look to select here. Two of the three, obviously. But, Dane Gagai has been amazing over the first four rounds. Last week and the week before weren't as crazy as the first two. But they come up against a Manly side who is without Tommy Trbojevic this week. So I think that the Knights can play a lot better than they did the last two. They obviously had the Mitch Barnett saga 2 games ago and then just didn't play so great in a bit of a weird game against the Sharks last week. So I think they'll be a lot more competitive this week and Gags can have a good game. At 17,680, I think he's going to score really well in this section. There's not too many here, as you can tell, that are averaging really well. So I think you're missing out if you don't have Gags in your side this week. The next possible selection would be Ruben Garrick. So he ends up playing the one position this week, and we know how he's done in the past in that position. So, definitely a good opportunity for him to get over 35, somewhere between that and 50 this week, I would say, for Ruben would be a good shout at that 13,380 price point. And the last one that you could select is somewhere between the Bradman Best or Dom Young. I think either one of them will be able to get you somewhere between that 35 and 40 this week, and just kind of have a bit of a play as to which one you think might score a try, and based on those matchups on the other side of the park. So you obviously got the Tua Pelotu, who's going to be on the wing for the Manly boys. So if you think that one of those boys could get a bit of a nice matchup against him, then that would be ideal. Even though Bestie plays in the centers, so that's that one there. Move to the halves position. I think DCE is pretty close to a must-have again at that high price point, but just the consistency has been amazing. 65 plus every week. So I think he's really important to have in your side. If you want to go a little bit lighter, or you could play the double with DCE and also Clifford, who's averaging really, really well also. 248s the last 2 weeks, and that's when they've gone pretty poor. So for him to be priced at 17.5k and still having a floor of 48, just with the high kick meters and stuff that he has, I think that he's someone that you could plug into your team pretty comfortably and get somewhere between a 48 and that 71 that he got in round one. He did obviously score a try in those first 2 games, but the assists and stuff hasn't been there as much this week, and obviously the goal kicking as well. So I think the game will be a bit closer, and Clifford can do better for your side. A little shout out to Chris Randall, who has the potential to do well if he gets closer to 80 minutes like he did last week with plenty of tackles. So if you got that extra bit of cash, you could go for Randall. But I think at a cheaper price, you could get Adam Clune, who's been super consistent. 36 being his floor and 42 being his highest score there. So I think if you want to plug someone in at 10,400 and bank on somewhere between 36 and 42, then Clune is your man, whether you want to put him in the halves or in the flex position. We move on to the forwards, and I think Frizzell's someone, he had that bit of hamstring tightness last week, so he went off a tiny bit early. Unfortunately, only getting the 37.8. But if he gets that full 80 minutes again, then somewhere in the high 50s to 60 would be perfect for Frizz. And in a game where I'm not seeing a lot of really high scorers, a lot of value in that forward position, I think he's someone that's really important. I wouldn't be going for Jake Olakwatu, for example. Saifidi, I think you can hold off. He's at a 39 and a 41, so 38 and a 41. So I think Kurt Mann becomes a little bit more of an option there, averaging 51 now. 2 really good scores last few weeks, so I think he can continue somewhere around that 50 mark at 16,170. I think is a solid one. Josh Aloy came in and got 37.5. I think you can wait another couple of weeks for him until he gets those big minutes again. The last 2 guys I want to speak about here would be Andrew Davey and also Brody Jones. So Davey played 80 minutes last week of 42.8, so I think that's pretty nice at that price point. If you expect him to get 80 again, which I think he can, then he could be a solid option. And Brody Jones came in with 52 minutes last week for a 31.6. I'm assuming he's going to get an increase in minutes and therefore an increase in points somewhere between that 35 to 45 this week as he progresses coming back from COVID and his injuries and stuff. I think he could be a solid one as well at that price point if you wanted to go a little bit lighter. Guys like Leo Thompson, he didn't go as great last week, so I'd like to see him get back to some decent form. His second stint wasn't as good, so if you think that will be out of the way and he'll be fine, then he'll still get some decent minutes this week and possibly around a 30 or 35 score. But other than that, it's probably all the guys that I'd select this week and just play with that flex as well as to how you're going to do that. Clune could be a solid one to have in there. You could go for the DCE Clifford and go cheap in those forwards and spend a little bit up top with Gags, or you can go like a Ruben and a Young or a Best or something like that. That's some of the options I would be thinking about in your side, and I hope that those selections really help you out. And good luck in tonight's game, guys. Gamble responsibly, and we'll talk to you soon. See you later.